Because here's another thing. Old Miro, I'm going to call him Miro Mouse. Miro, Mickey, and Minnie Mouse is there with Sabian and Ford, and he's lifting weights, and Sabian's doing shtick. And they have, again, pigeonholed this guy, this big git that they've just signed, fresh off of the WWE television, as a fucking middle card guy doing shtick with the prelim talent. And I don't even know what the fuck he was saying because of his accent. They were trying to do some kind of witty banter, but did you even get what they were talking about?
I mean, it's been a few days. It's been a few days since I watched it. I remember thinking, man, Miro looks good here. And then they started doing their shtick, and I'm like, oh, that's right. He's doing comedy.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And he didn't have the Mickey Mouse t-shirt on. He was bench pressing, and he was jacked, and he's got a great body, and he stands up and looks great, and then he opens his mouth, and they're doing their shtick. So he's another expensive middle card guy that's going to go nowhere because he doesn't know how to take care of himself. And it's, a lot of times it's not these guys' fault. They don't know how to take care of themselves, get themselves over. They've never been asked to or allowed to because they've been spoon-fed and told everything to say and do. But then the problem becomes when they've said that we want to be free of these shackles and chains and get ourselves over, and then they can't because they're not smart enough to turn down bad booking because they don't know what bad booking is. And they don't know how to fucking take matters in their own hands. So this is shit. You got an expensive middle card guy here. Miro. Remember that name. Write it down. You're going to need to. It won't be on the tip of everybody's tongue. Then, Lance Archer comes out with Jake Roberts. What's the first thing Lance Archer did, Brian?
I believe he beat up another generic person at ringside, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And that would have been great if it hadn't been done 45 minutes previously with 4 guys. What the fuck? No wonder they put the fans up in the bleachers and the fucking job guys down in front. It's not because of COVID. It's because if you go down front, you're going to get beat up on this television program. They just did it with 4 guys 45 minutes previously. Now Lance does it with 1 guy. That's going to get him over. They shoot their own selves in the foot. I'm not even talking about Lance now. They're telling him to do this, but he's not fucking arguing. Jake knows better than this. Jake sits back there and sees this do the same thing, only 4 times as good than his guy. He's taking a fucking check. A lot of these guys are taking checks. Jake does his promo, and he tried to rip off the Pink Floyd. Did you see? He almost got it. He almost got the opening 2 lines.
He was doing what? Wish You Were Here, right?
He was doing Wish You Were Here, but he only got, he bungled the second line and then added his own verbiage to another line and then quit doing the song entirely.
So now we have a little bit of a track record here with Jake and Pink Floyd, because when you called him when he no-showed you for Smoky Mountain,
yes,
it was Comfortably Numb. He was playing on his answering machine.
Yes, I have become comfortably numb. Jake.
2 different albums.
If you get your feeling back, call me and see if you're ever going to come back to work.
Is that what you said?
Something like that. It's been 25 years. I may not have been that. I was still hoping he might come back because that had only been the 3rd day in a row he no-showed. And by the way, I did that promo. He's stealing from me now. I did that promo for fucking Yokozuna against Bret Hart in a cage. We're doing a day of promos at TV one day. And it's just the constant local promos. Okay, Rochester, Cleveland, Buffalo, Poughkeepsie, San Francisco, Oakland, Dallas, whatever the fuck. It was Rochester, Syracuse, or whatever. Cage match. Bret Hart versus Yokozuna, WWF title. Says, so, Bret Hart, so you think you can tell heaven from hell? Blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? Hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? Did you exchange, Bret, your walk-on part in a war for a lead role in a cage? And we were out of time. I was entertaining myself, but the point is, anyway, Jake, it did the promo either about sleeping with strange people or needing tag team partners. It was Strange Bedfellows was in there. So here comes Taz, who did not need to be standing in the ring next to two guys that are 6'5". But what the fuck? Now this is another group. Now Taz and brings Starks and Cage. Starks and Cage are going to be Lance Archer's partners with Taz and Jake in the corner in a 6-man tag next week. So when Archer wins the title from Moxley in October, then Cage will get the first shot. That's the deal they've made. The heels are working together with each other so that they can fight later. Another group. Suddenly they're interrupted by Stone Cold Cosplay's music, who comes out in the arena, of course. But this time, since that's all he ever does, Cage and Starks are ready for him and they blindside him. And after considerable effort, finally get the fucking non-selling bastard down for a second. Until here comes Will Hobbs with a chair. Now they want to push Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs is giving a good accounting of himself. Nothing wrong with using a new guy looks like that. He's big, good-looking kid. He did a good job on the TV stuff recently. Nobody showed him how to use the chair. He gets there with the chair, and fucking Cage doesn't feed him anything except standing there, and he's trying to do the fucking pokey edge of chair shots. He's got a fucking chair in his hand, one fucking shot to the fucking head in a safe, responsible manner on either one of the heels that knew how to take it properly would have got that fucking kid over, and boom, and the other one catch the fucking heel and they powder. But as it was, he gives Cage a couple of shitty pokes with the chair and then swings it at shit he can hit as they duck out of the way and then makes noise. And then Moxley introduces everybody to, of course, Moxley, after being mugged by these two top heels, he was back up and speaking within seconds, and introduced Hobbs and asked Darby Allin to come from the skateboard jungle or wherever he lives next week for the 6-man tag. Once again, a good thing to use Will Hobbs. Don't send him out there without showing him how to use the gimmick that you've handed him. And this was all some convoluted shit. And the guys are now just making their own fucking matches. I'm going to wrestle you next week. And hey, Darby, if you're home, I got your phone number, but I'll just tell you now, you come on down and you can be our partner. We'll have a match with. They're just doing it themselves. This is the most amateur fucking production I've ever seen in my life. Which leads me to the main event. I don't know. Wait a minute. I didn't get your thoughts on this another heel group with another heel group, heels fighting heels promo. Did you understand all of this?
I thought this was one of the best things on the episode. Now, again, there was a lot of shit on this episode. But with the exception of Moxley coming through the side door, which thankfully the music guy knew was about to happen, and also Moxley had a mic already.
Yeah.
I don't know who preps him before he comes out of the various orifices of the arena. But other than that, I thought it was all right. Ricky Starks sitting behind him and then attacks him. Cage runs in. I've told you before. Very high on Ricky Starks and Cage. Really like Taz. I agree with you about Taz, who I think is like 5'6" or 5'7", being in there with Jake and Archer. But they're setting something up here. You know, we'll work together reluctantly. And we have a deal. If you win, we get a shot. I like the fact that they're elevating Will Hobbs. I haven't seen very much of him, but the little bit I've seen of him, he has a lot of potential. I thought this was one of the least bad things on the show.
It was the second least bad match.
No, I thought it was all right. All things considered on the show, I thought this was all right.
Again. Yes, I agree with you about the good points of it, but why do they have to do the dumb shit first? All right.